Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, love bugs. It's Michelle coming at you live today with something that I have been wanting to do for years now, more specifically months now. And I've talked to some people and we've decided, and Spirit has kind of pushed me to get this started today. I am presenting to you a little show that we're going to call On the Couch with, and it'll be with whoever comes to sit on the couch with me. My human Michelle is fun to just sit and chill on the couch with. That's where I have my sessions. It's where everyone can sit and relax. And since we're all in quarantine right now, what better place? We're all sitting on the couch anyway, and we have technology like Zoom to do these wonderful things. So what better time than now? What better place than here to start on the couch? I am going to read what this show is about, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then we're going to introduce our guest, the very first one who's going to be on the couch today with us. I wrote something about what I wanted, which is funny for me to come up with a mission, but I do want all of you to know why we're doing this. And this is kind of a mission statement, or a kind of a, just a synopsis of what this is going to be about. On the couch. Everyone has a story to tell, a source energy to discover, unite with, and love, a destiny to embrace, and a lesson to learn and teach us all. We're going to tell Adreyauna's story right now here on the couch. So that is the statement about what we're about to do, talk about. I'm going to introduce Adreyauna. She is our first guest on the couch. So today is On the Couch, episode 1 with Adreyauna. There she is. Yay. Hello. First, you got to tell us all what that shirt says.
Okay, so it says healed, divinely guided, chakras aligned, and ancestors honored.
Oh, man. And I love that yellow. You look so bright and so happy. Very nice. A little bit about me and Adreyauna. I was teaching a class, I think 2 years ago, in the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I was just teaching an introduction to tarot, to teach humans how to read tarot cards. And she was one of them who signed up. I think we had 12 or 14 people in that class, and everyone showed up every day. We never missed, and we got together and talked about tarot cards and spiritual awakening and psychic gifts, and really off the cuff, right? Like whatever we were led to talk about. And Adreyauna, I always remember, was right here next to me on my left. She sat right there. And she always was that psychic I knew was in the room. She was always that high priestess that I knew was in the room, but she doubted it at the time. And I remember one particular lesson where I turned to you, Adreyauna. I was talking about something, and I turned to you and I went, oh, see, this shit's real. And like, you were just, I don't remember what we were talking about, but it felt so exposing. Like you were having a moment where you were realizing, God, I might know psychic stuff. I might have some spiritual resonance with this crazy girl is talking about up here. So that's how we met. We did the class, and then our class kept meeting at my home. And we would just get together and play with our psychic abilities. And now here, Adreyauna has her own path that she has found, and her own business that she has, and her own story to tell. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. So Adreyauna, I want you to just kind of introduce yourself. Give us a little, snapshot of you, and we'll just go from there. I have some cards. There's some stuff. We'll just do whatever we're going to do. Okay. So you go and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. So I'm Adreyauna. Right now, as you're watching this, I'm 26. And so I'm a little young thing out here in the spiritual community. I'm from Nashville originally, but I've been down in New Orleans for about 4 years. Yeah, for about 4 years. Moved here straight out of college with my girlfriend, and did education. That was hard. It was definitely worth it, but it was very hard. And I guess I've always kind of felt weirdly psychic. I think I used to joke around myself a lot and say like, "Oh my God, I'm psychic," because I have this thought, and then 10 minutes later, that thing would come true. But of course, your girl grew up deep in the South with all of that Christian upbringing, to where anything that is not of God, of the church, is completely demonic. Like, I couldn't watch Harry Potter. Like, that's how strict it was.
Wow.
Yeah. But of course I did it anyway.
I was going to say, did you snuck away and watched it somewhere else, or?
It is in my nature to do it anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, it was really an interesting journey. And I think for a while, especially like in my early 20s, I don't know, I felt weird. I felt strange. I felt like there was something trying to burst out of me, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And so I think it manifested in a lot of different ways, from anger and confusion to like self-hatred and self-doubt, to just like completely just pulling away from society. And then like, now I understand it now, but while it was happening, I thought I was completely bonkers. I thought I was just off. And so, yeah, very thankful for meeting you. The fine timing.
It was good for me too. Yeah.
Like, I just could not have even thought to dream of something like this. So shout out to the universe for looking out for us when we didn't know, better, I guess.
Right. Good for us for answering the call and taking this pathway, because we asked that question a while ago of, what if we all hadn't have made these choices to start waking up or start going on this spiritual path, and then bam, here comes this pandemic and this all of a sudden change of life. And what if we didn't have these tools or this awareness or this relationship with ourselves, and going through this? And I just can't imagine right now anybody going through current time without any kind of faith or structure or some kind of foundation where they know themselves, the energy that brought them here, the thing that supports them, whatever they call it in that journey. And like we're going to talk about that early religion and what that does, especially when there's like when we're having feelings or experiences, and like, how are we supposed to talk to people and tell them, I'm seeing things, I'm hearing stuff. I went through a vortex the other day. Like, the conversations that you and I get to have privately, how do we start opening up and talking to other people about this, like now? I know I did want to start with a little bit of an invocation, just kind of a little unzipping, where you and I can invite in our source, our energy, our ancestors, so that they can get involved now that our humans have kind of relaxed, kind of set the tone of what we're going to do. I'll just ring a little chime. We'll do just a little invocation, and then we're going to really start getting into some conversation with you to talk about some of the things you said during your introduction. Okay.
Awesome.
So however you and I feel like grounding, since you and I have meditated together so many times, our higher selves are all ready and united. Allow cleansing air, cleansing vibrations, cleansing energies to bubble and release any restrictions, any apprehensions, any fear that we might have to share ourselves with each other and whoever might tune in to watch this on the couch. We're all so grateful to be here together and to talk about our journeys, our stories. We're so grateful that we came to life at this time to be here. And we're so proud to share our truths and our beliefs, not to impose on the other, but to share so that we can learn from them as well and really become one.
Ashe, ashe.
Ooh, that felt yummy.
Did. I was like, ooh.
There's just something about, when you meditate by yourself, but when you pull in someone else, especially like us, we have a vibe. You just go there so quick,
Yes.
Remember the first days that you tried meditating? Like, did you have a list of, I got to do this, and then I light a candle, and then do you remember the first time you actually committed to a meditation?
Honestly, you know what? The earliest memories I have of a meditation is, I can't even remember what year it was, but I think it was in like 2011. Yeah, 2011. And I was sitting in class and they were talking about mindfulness and how good it is for you. And I'm just like, what is this mumbo jumbo that he's talking about? And so that same bell that you just rang, he had that same bell and he did it for about 5 minutes. I was like, ooh, okay, that's nice. That definitely lowered a lot of things inside of me. I thought I was a little cuckoo bananas because of just like how quick it was to get into that space of just stillness.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost scary, honestly. I was like, ooh, should I do that again? Did I do it right? That was the question. Did I do it right?
We're so cute. Was that okay? Well, who was watching? Was that all right? That's so cute.
God, yeah, that's, Damn.
But now, like, how quick are you? You got in really quick, right? When you want to meditate, your body's like, all right,
Yep. Yep. Just set the intention. All right, we're here. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you still feel that though when you might be going too far? Do you ever still pull your energy back? Especially lately because the energy's been so hyped up. But that full moon, of course you and I can feel that. I felt it early this morning. I'm like, here she comes, it was like it's getting intense. But like those whirls of energy and like are you feeling that meditative like pull because of this full moon? See, and it just took me off track.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? When we're talking and like spirit goes, look, and you're trying to keep it all together. That just happened to me because I was talking about the full moon.
I think, especially yesterday, I did a deep like crown chakra meditation and I couldn't stay focused to save my life. I was just everywhere. But I don't have that fear of going too deep anymore, which is really makes me feel good and proud to say. And even like getting into, because I've been doing a lot of like past life work, diving into the Akashic records. And
you're doing that all on your own, or are you working with?
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so it's been a little hard. And I think that's just my own blockage of, is what I'm seeing correct? I think it comes back to that question. Why? So many layers to that, but but I think it's been good. I still find myself stopping and then just being like, you know what, just go in, just push. Whatever comes up, comes up. So, but yeah, definitely a lot of progression since 2011, which is a good thing.
Very nice. Again, at least you're doing it. I can't imagine being someone who doesn't have meditation or yoga or some kind of connection.
Mhm.
But that's why we're doing this, because hopefully this quarantine is making everybody ask those questions. Why am I here? You know, what is my value? I know source, God, whatever you call that, is talking to everybody right now,
Yes.
no matter where you're at, in the toilet, on the couch, in the shower, whatever. I do want to talk about, you know, like your spiritual upbringing. I had a Catholic upbringing. I never understood it, and I don't think they liked me because I asked too many questions. I was
Mm.
always doubtful, but because of my sign and what I came in, the energy I came, I'm a very divine being. And I always ask the religious people lots of questions because as a divine being, I was like, you guys are kind of full of shit. And I kind of knew it as a kid. But then, of course, I got in trouble for
Mhm.
asking questions. And then I got shy. And then I was like, I'm going to hell. So I just shut down, shut down, shut down. And then was raised with these, you know, beliefs. My religious adventure went like that. I went to really hardcore Christianity, where
Mm.
there were people at my house every Wednesday and we had Bible study. I went really hard into Catholic school stuff for my kids. And then I really took hands off and went to like a Unitarian, non-denominational church, which was my favorite, by the way. They prayed to Mother, Father, God. I mean, they were like, God's over here in this tree, over here in this bush. And I was like, really? Like, and it was a long, long time ago. And so that's how the religious journey went. And every religion pushed me away because I had all
Mm.
these other psychic, intuitive things happening in my personal life that didn't connect with what they were saying. And it did feel like I was being oppressed or told it was evil.
Mm.
Um, and us coming out now with our intuitive gifts and helping and giving readings, you have to redigest that stuff, that religious connection. And why
Mhm.
did I turn off those gifts? You know, because they told me God hated that and that was evil. So let's talk a little bit about your religious upbringing. What kind of background did you have, and you know, what stories do you remember about faith and religion?
Yeah. Um, so I grew up Church of God in Christ my whole life. My grandmother and my mom were like the religious leaders of my family and my story, I guess.
Mm.
And so when I was like a toddler, my grandmother was always taking me to church with her. I was in like the choir, doing like the little children's services and whatnot. Um, and then I remember when I got my first Bible, it was so cute. It had all of these little characters in it, little cartoon characters. It was adorable. Um, and I would just find myself so fascinated in the words and just like the stories and how all of these different people had these experiences with God.
Mm.
And just thinking like, wow, that's amazing. Like if that's happened so long ago, I can't even imagine like what's happened since then. Um,
Mm.
and so I just remember like always being in church and never really paying attention to what the pastor was saying. Just never focused. I'd be there for the music. I'd be so into whenever the choir and we're dancing and singing. That's my jam. But as
Oh
soon as the
yeah.
bishop starts talking, I'm like, oop, nope, la 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 la. And I would just stay in my Bible and I'd just be reading. And always, whenever I opened up, I would turn to a story or a page that would directly resonate with what was going on for me.
Mm.
Um, and so now I look back on that and I know that's another form of divination. You know, it's just like pulling a tarot card. But I didn't know that then. And then, so that was one of my first questions of like, does that happen to everybody? I didn't really know how to ask that question because like my grandmother was always telling us that, you know, your pastor, your bishop, like that's the head. That's who you listen to. They got the big message, and whatever they say goes. And that's the kind of, I guess that's pretty much what Church of God in Christ, in my eyes, that's how I view their belief system as well. Whoever the leader of the church, like, that's it. They have the final say. And then I remember having these sensations when people would get really into the spirit. Like people were throwing themselves around, hollering, running around church. And I'm like, what? This is crazy madness. Oh my God. But, you know, still that only happens to people who are saved.
Yeah.
You know, and so I've never been baptized. I was christened as a baby, which to me is baptism, but I ain't gonna get into that conversation.
You didn't have a choice, so I don't know. Baptism, I'm like, I didn't have a choice in that. You made that decision, Mom and Dad, so yeah.
Yeah, I've never been baptized. So I don't really.
But since then, you've done rituals, right? Where it's kind of a baptism.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Girl, baptism can happen anytime, huh?
Hello.
You're like in the shower with the scrubber, crying your eyes out, like, take all this. You're baptizing yourself, you know? It's beautiful.
Exactly.
It means so much more now. I can baptize myself anytime.
And I can do it whenever I want to, as often. Oh, okay, yeah. This is it.
So having very powerful female, like shamanic leaders in your life, knowing now that they're shamanic leaders, healers, medicine people, not just the label that they had, you know, in the church, do you feel a calling to lead people like that as well?
Oh, I don't know. I think part of me is like, oh, maybe. But at the same time, I think I reject it because it's like I never want someone to take my word and that be the final say, and that be the way that you define your life, and that be the only way that you know you're doing the right thing. I would never want that. And so I think that's why I do reject it. But I don't know. I'm too much of I like to do this, and then I like to try this. And so I don't know if I would ever feel so connected to doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. But there is a lot of spiritual counseling that we do in our readings. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of almost the same thing like a pastor or a preacher. That's one thing I've always respected about that hermit card. At least when I get in tuned with the hermit card. It's a spiritual leader, but only because it shines its light. Like what you and I are doing, like we're not bashing anybody over the head saying, you got to believe this, it's this way. You're actually pointing out the time in your life when, you know, that sucks. We find out there's all kinds of ways, there's all kinds of options, and that's what's so unique. But the hermit, I love that the hermit just comes out and shines. It doesn't, oh, hello. It's the devil card. That's funny. The devil card pops out, the ego, the thing that I was over here talking about, the hermit card being an energy of finding your light and finding your mission and finding your voice and shining that to other people without doing like the old school preachers. I'm the only one that has the answer, you know. Whenever I would ask a priest a question as a little girl, you know, but how come it's only men who can do this? And how come, you know, hold on, something happened here. Did I lose you and you came back? I got you. Anyway, talking about that hermit card and not coming out with like preachy and it's got to be my way and I'm the only one who knows the answer because I have a penis type of stuff. The hermit just comes out and says, this is how I found my light. how did you find yours? That's kind of like how I wanted this to be, you know, expressing how we each found our light and just share it so that when the collective watches, they can be like, oh, well, that kind of resonates and I found my own. What's funny though is this devil card popped out. They picked the golden tarot for you.
Hmm.
The golden tarot has, of course, it's gold. It's very, you know, Renaissance-ish type illustrations. It's got very bougie gold edging. But the color gold is that energy or that dimension that we go to release, to let go, to connect to the divine. It's a dimension that I see out of humans. It's outside is gold. And that's the deck they picked for you because you are very much someone who helps other people let go of everything. And as I was shuffling, the devil card popped out, and your religion and my religion taught us about this thing and how bad it is. And if you do that, you're going to experience that. And that I think I know for myself scared me away from my truth.
Yeah.
Oh, that way is the devil. And it's
Oh,
kind of funny that I feel like I'm more connected with Christ consciousness now by going the route that they told me was the devil. You know what I mean? It's so, it actually kept me from Christ consciousness, them keeping me away. And so I'm almost like, are they using that as a tool to scare, you know, did they use that religion to scare us, you know?
right.
So what have you learned about the devil? Not only like the image that was programmed into you, but also like in relative to tarot cards and your own journey. Like, what have you learned about the devil?
Um, I it's interesting, like when the devil shows up for me, it always comes as this like it's a very nurturing experience. I don't That's the best way I can describe it, is that word nurturing. And it feels like it's just gonna say like, hey sweetie, I know you're thinking this way, but I'm gonna need you to just open up a little bit more than that. And that's how I feel about the devil card and any times that it's shown up for me. And it's also kind of just like, it's not something that sugarcoats, but it's also not something that comes to just like destroy everything, even though it can. That's not always the goal. I don't even know if that makes sense, but
It does.
and so the devil is so, I think it's so powerful. And it's funny that you pulled that card, because I've been thinking about that card for a good week now, and how it came up for a reading for me a couple of a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, what's time? I don't know.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I just know go to bed, wake up. That's it. So who knows? Yeah. That's funny.
And so this devil card, and of course, it's connected to the Scorpio sign. Hello, Scorpio full moon. And I've got a few. And I got a few placements in Scorpio. My brothers are Scorpios, so it feels very kind of like, I'm just gonna be who I am, and whoever doesn't like it, I can't control that. I cannot control that. And so it does feel like very much a freedom in total authenticity that so many of us struggle with. So that's what the devil comes to teach me so far. Who knows what I'm gonna know in 10 years or so.
Right. There's that fine balance too of that devil and the light. There's that fine balance of what we think is evil and what's holy. I think everything has a possibility and an ingredient of both, and finding that chill spot in the middle. This is always what I knew. Purgatory. I'm going to be in hell. I'm going to be burning. That energy that created me, that went through all that trouble to have me, fucking hated me. and was going to throw me here. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was told all the time. God was called a man, and the devil was called a man. Women can just be as demonic as the masculine. So it's kind of funny. This is such an oppressive, and it's supposed to make you feel that oppressive, and because for me, what I've learned that this is my own darkness. This is the stuff that I keep myself back from. This is ego. You know, when my authentic divine nature goes, you know that guy's full of crap and you should ask that question. My devil records me going, I can't do that. I'm not better. I'm not as smart. I don't know, you know, and I get scared to speak up. I'm going to get reprimanded. And that's what the devil energy has been for me. And, you know, our first instinct is to get all nervous and, oh, bad, and someone's got a hex. Sometimes that is true.
True.
Because sometimes when we let our ego play, we do put out a curse, sometimes on ourselves, on our family line, on somebody else. So the devil has a lot to expose. I call it the lint trap in the dryer. Like, it's the collector of your lint. And nobody wants to look at their lint, but you have to in order to be free. Like, I've always known that this thing only shows me my lint because it wants me to be free and see my life, what it really is. So funny that did come up. That devil energy. Talk to me a little bit about this full moon that's coming up Thursday morning. What have you learned to mean the full moon means for you? Because I know we all have a description and we've all memorized full moon is when you release. And that I don't play that game. I just see that as the bait, right? The cute little bait that got us to go that way. But what does full moon mean to you, and what has it taught you about your own cycles? She said. Comma.
I think full moons kind of, they feel so playful to me. They feel like the time when you do everything that you've been holding your breath to do. And like the energy that comes with the full moon is just so damn potent, and it lasts for so long. So you get this juicy period to just play in the universe, you know, however that looks like. Sometimes it is releasing, but also sometimes it's setting a new goal, or maybe it's just like cleaning your home or starting a new regimen. Like it really doesn't matter. It's just like what you're called to do. But at the root of full moons for me is always like playtime.
And let's remind everybody, what's your astro sign?
So I am an Aries sun with a Sagittarius moon and a Cancer rising.
Woo, girl. Woo, just put that Cancer there at the end just to make it interesting.
Yeah, that's me.
So I'm just saying that because air signs, water signs, earth signs, and those other signs, you know, we all handle full moons differently. So I just wanted to point out what your sign was, which is Aries. Aries for me is this, like, you know, it's like you're like this. What's up? Like that adventure, very faithful type of sign. So I like that you're going to go play. So what are you going to go play about? Can you share what you're feeling playful about this full moon?
So this full moon, I'm feeling called to really just not do anything, honestly. I don't know why, like some full moons, I'm just really into just planning it all out. But this full moon is just like, nah, dude, just chill. We got you.
Wow.
And so I am trying to spend a lot of like reflection time and like writing more, especially being very intentional about doing it this week at least, because my dreams always get super crazy and intense around the full moon time.
What did you dream about last night?
Oh my God. So the first dream was I was sitting with a bunch of people who I don't know, and we were in this camp in space, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Uh-huh.
all that's all I know. And I think we were just like waiting for the kids to come. So that was a thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then the second dream was it took place at a funeral. And I was going to a funeral for someone on my dad's side of the family, but it was just so separated. Like the whole atmosphere in the actual room was so divided. Like family members were divided. I was divided. I was being shut off from like my own people, like my dad. People were trying to like block me from getting to him to comfort him. And so I woke
Wow.
up like, what the fuck?
Right?
What is
Yeah.
that? So I'm still kind of sitting with that, but you know, so yeah, that's just day one.
Do you like write down your dreams? Are you one of those that journals the dreams?
Mm, Not always. If I feel called to, I will. But I
Yeah.
used to write consistently. Like I think I have about 3 years worth of dreams saved on my laptop. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What you gonna do with all that, Adriana?
Oh, honey, I have no idea.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody will find it one day and do something with it. I don't know.
Have you gotten into dream interpretation? Do you ever do that for any of the clients that you sit with?
If they ask about a dream, I'll definitely tune in. Or if spirit tells me to ask about a dream, I will. But I don't like offer it as a service. But
Yeah, we both coughed on that one, so I'm just saying. Sorry, I got to clear the throat chakra there.
yeah,
Just to let people
heard
know
that.
when I've learned in my journey that when we clear our throat, it's our throat chakra getting ready to tell the truth. And it's funny because I remember in my life being taught that people that they're lying to you. And that's
Mm,
what I always was told. You can tell someone's lying by because they'll they'll clear their throat. And when I
mm,
was starting on my journey and giving messages and doing readings, spirit would have me clear my throat and be like, "You're about to drop truth. You're about to give a bomb. Like you're letting something out." And I'm like, "No, no, no. Wait, wait, wait. That's like people are going to think I'm lying." And I again, did they
mm.
program that so that I won't tell the truth because people won't believe me anyway, you know? But that's what I've learned. When I do it, it's my throat chakra just going, here it comes, just let it happen. And a lot of times that's when humans will stop themselves from declaring something, that they might be afraid to say. So it's funny that you and I both at the same time on that about dreams and interpretation and helping. Have you ever found yourself in a session with someone where they were talking to you about a dream and like you can feel yourself go there?
Yeah. Yeah. That happened really intensely this winter. I had this client come in the shop, and oh man, it's like everything that she was saying about her dream. It was just like boom. I was right there. I was feeling the feels. Um, and so I was just kind of blown away. I couldn't even like speak for a few moments because I was just like, wow, never happened to me before. I need a moment. Um, and so, yeah, that was really cool now that I think about it.
Yeah, it was. And I'm only bringing it up because I'm an oracle. So I was there with you. Like I can feel all that experience. And I know when you're giving some readings like that, you're in that past life with them. You're in that dream with them. You're on the toilet seat with them. Like you're almost invading their space and looking through their
Mhm.
eyes. And that brings a lot of doubt. Like, am I really doing this? And then how good does it feel? How validating is it when your client's like, how did you know? Or how did when they acknowledge that you connected with them somewhere else, and it's such a privilege, but it feels good, right, when they tell you, how did
Yeah.
you know that, how did you experience that?
Yeah. And it's so funny. People ask me that. I'm just like, I don't know. It just came to me.
I laugh and I tell them, well, I did tell you at the beginning of this session that I'm an oracle, right? And I'm going to be able to connect to everything. I'm going to see all your shit. Like, you're aware who you're talking to. You know, that's why I called myself Michelle the Oracle. So everybody would know. And I love that. They're like, how did you know? Oh my God, you got that to a T. And I just sit back and giggle. I'm like, yeah, I know. I kind of told you what I was going to do. So. But then on the inside, right, I'm kind of freaking the fuck out going, how did you know that? Like,
Right.
why? You said you knew this shit, and like, you do know this shit, Michelle. Like, Adriana, this shit's real. It's like that class. This
real.
stuff's real. Like, right? It's so amazing.
What a life.
Do you believe that all of us have this gift, or just some of us were given it? Right?
I think we all, how do I describe this? I think we all have the ability, but I believe it all manifests differently for each of us. And just like some people are more visual learners and auditory learners, I think the same thing goes for like all of these spiritual gifts as well. And you know, some people do well in warm climates, some people do well in cold climates. And so I think we do all have the capabilities, but I do also feel like there are people who are chosen to just like explore it a little bit deeper, a little bit farther. Because, you know, we need guinea pigs, and that's just how life goes. That's nature. So
it's funny you said guinea pigs, because that's what I was referring to you as, being my first guest. You're my guinea pig. You know, we're gonna watch this back and go, is this any good? Is this stupid, or is this gonna all make sense? So I'm glad you brought up the guinea pig aspect of the whole thing. What's the closest crystal you got? You got a crystal around you anywhere? What rock do you got nearby?
yeah, well, I've got a little pile of them.
Well, listen to all that.
You
goodies, yes.
So I've got a chrysocolla baby here.
Ooh.
I cannot for the life of me remember what this stone is, but a customer gave it to me. And all I can remember, it's really good for protection, and it's really good to like keep you grounded, which is, you know, makes sense because of what it looks like. I've got a tiger's eye.
Matches your blouse.
Yeah. And then I've got some fluorite too. It's a little
very nice.
Clear. I've got some other ones, but they don't really want to play. They're a little bit more private than these 4 crystals, and they've always been that way. So, yeah.
How long have you been doing the rock thing?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe since the tarot class, because I think a little bit before I came to the tarot class, so a little bit over 2 years. Yeah.
What was the propeller that got you to go to that tarot class in the first place?
Oh, jeez. I bought a deck. I played with it. The Shaman Tarot deck.
Shaman, hello, yes. I'm just saying, that's, you know how I point stuff out.
That was my baby, still is my baby. So I had the Shaman Tarot deck. I played with it. I like laid it out on the floor, and I was like, oh damn, this thing feels good. And then I was like, okay. I tried to figure out what each of the major arcana cards were and like what they meant without looking at the book first, because I'm an overachiever. Clearly I'm an Aries, y'all. And then
just so happened that the tarot class announced a couple of weeks after that, and I was like, oh, this is too good. This is too good.
Here's your sign.
Yeah, I don't even know why I got the deck. I just walked into the store and was like, these decks are cool. Ooh, I really like this one. Boom. All right, I'm getting it.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Had you played with tarot cards before or ever gotten a reading?
Oh, me? No, that's the devil, honey child. No.
That's this guy. Yeah. That's that. Yeah.
I'd heard of tarot cards, and I think I'd had maybe one reading. I had one reading, and she was telling me that I could possibly get a new job. And then once I got the confirmation that somebody wanted me to have that job, I was like, ooh, so there's some truth in tarot. Okay. All right. Shouldn't play with that stuff. All right. Gotcha.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But what was your career path before the tarot class? What were you like? What were you doing?
So I was working in education with an AmeriCorps program, which is basically national service. And my dream was to be a writer and to do like psychology, of course in the States, to do counseling services, but I also wanted to travel the world to see how other countries did psychology. So that was the dream. Still is the dream. Definitely haven't given up on that.
Very nice. And now, since you took that tarot class, you now have become a reader, a spiritual counselor, a healer. Adreyauna has created a product called Ink to Prosperity. I was going to bring my oil out here, but I have it on the Empress Intention oil. Not only can I put it on me, but I can invoke it anytime because her oils rock like that. Like I don't even have to have her product in my hand. I can be somewhere else and pull in my oil and just have it on me. Like that's how powerful her shit is. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you got pulled into being a reader? And if you blame it on me, that's not going to work. You're just going to have to, because I know the story and I don't want you being like, it was her fault. Don't you remember, Michelle? That was you, girl. No, I want to hear, because you had to be the decider to let that path unveil. And how quick did it start to roll out once you got on?
So I knew I wanted to go to school. I knew I wanted to go back to school. I think so. My first year out of college, 2012, and I knew I wanted to go back to school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, how I wanted it to show up, not even where, but I just knew I wanted to do that thing because I love to learn. I'm always a student first. And so that was the same year where I was having a lot of self-doubt, a lot of just self-hatred, like depressed, just I can't even recognize myself because I was just so heavy, so dark. And so I was trying to find a way to like pull myself out of it because I was going to therapy, but it just like was not meeting my needs. I tried medication. It didn't work at all. It made me feel so out of touch, even more so than I already was. And so I started looking into like essential oils and, learning about like, I think doTERRA was the thing. And so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll try some essential oils, see how that works. And I really found out that I liked lavender. Makes a lot of sense based on what I was going through. And so I love, love, love lavender still to this very day. And
How come?
It's so, you can use it for everything. I think that's why.
Look at her light up when she talked about the lavender. You just went, that was awesome. Go ahead.
You can use lavender for whatever you want. And so I loved playing. I'm always connected to plants. My grandpa was a gardener. My mom had a green thumb. I have, thankfully, a green thumb. And so I was like, ooh, maybe I'll get a lavender plant. That bitch died. Oh,
What?
it died. I was so sad about it, but this just isn't the best climate. New Orleans isn't the best climate for lavender. But I got some dried herbs, and I just would mix up little concoctions in my teas because I was not sleeping well, and I needed to fix that. And so in came valerian root, in came lavender, passion flower. So I was making teas for myself. And then,
were you intuitively letting yourself go to these things, or were you researching everything?
so I knew about lavender already. And I think I had asked my mom if she knew anything because she works in a hospital. And she is always all about natural healing. And so I asked her.
So it runs in the family, yes.
So it runs in the family. It does.
Okay. They say tomato, I say tomato. It's all shamanistic. Okay.
It is. And so she pointed out valerian root, and I was like, oh my God, I've never heard of this. Looked it up, it was right on time. And the passion flower, I don't know why, I don't remember how I got drawn to passion flower, but I did. So here I am, all feeling so much better. And so the teas led to oils, which led to bath salts. And now I'm here crafting it consistently.
And you're teaching classes, and she's shipping products and burning rituals and doing collective readings and love prayers every day. I mean, do I need to be your agent? Because I'm like selling you. I'm like, she is in it. Girl went, how? Like lavender. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's so awesome. I mean, really, and I made sure to share the religious, spiritual experiences I was having with your product when you first came out with it, because I was like, you need to know what this is doing to me. And I mean, do you really, that when you put it together? Because like the first time I put on that catalyst oil, I was dancing with my ancestors. I called you right after that. I'm like, Adreyauna, it's the first time I put catalyst oil on myself. I got out of the shower, I put it on, and I'm dancing around my room naked with my ancestors. What's up? And you're like, yeah, that's what was supposed to happen. Well, can you give a bitch a warning or something? Because I'm like, it was awesome, but I've always tried to be awesome. Are you aware when you concoct that, the kind of connection and that you have through your product with the people?
I think at first I didn't understand. I just knew that there was this thing that I was making for other people to have their own experiences. Because while I'm making it, I too am having a very healing experience.
Can you kind of give some explanation? Like from the moment you start, all that?
So when I first made my blends that I make consistently now, every time I would get this inkling like, oh, I have a new recipe, I would just start having experiences related to the intention of the oil. So for Catalyst, I was having all of these strange encounters, or not strange, but really blessed encounters with my ancestors. They were showing up in so many different ways. And I just wanted to keep that momentum going. I didn't want to lose them, And so while I was making it, I was also thinking about this pattern within my own family of just like not feeling proud of who we are, however that looks. And so that's where like the generational blockage came from. Of course, I don't know where it started in my family, but it didn't matter. I just knew like it had to stop. And so I was researching different like herbs that help, and cotton was one of the first herbs that came to me when I was making catalyst oil, and I rejected that thing like it was nobody's business. I was like, cotton, what? Get that away from me, even though I wear it daily. Like, come on.
But it's connected to a story.
It's connected
to your ancestors. It's an energy. Yeah.
Exactly. But come to find out, cotton is very medicinal. Of course, can be made into clothes. It can be actually naturally used to help wounds. And it's also like on a spiritual side of things, cotton is good for protection because it's very pointy, and it's just like the thorns on a rose. And so cotton can keep out a lot of negative juju for you. And so once I finally reconcile with that herb, then it's almost like the oil recipe just like clicked. I knew exactly what I wanted to put in it, how much, and I just got to concocting. And you know, like while I was making it, I would have these moments where I would just like stop and cry. I didn't know what I was crying for, but it's just like it had to come out. I was dancing with my oils, just putting on all kind of music. I was singing to it, and I knew like, okay, I thought that it was going to be a very like, you put this much here and then this much here, and then you let it sit for XYZ, and then you take it out and you bottle it up. So when it came with that experience of just like unloading just years of baggage for myself and for the people who've come before me, I was just like, oh, well, goddamn, okay, here we go. And so I wanted that experience for other people, which is why I offered it up for others to have that experience.
Well, yeah, it happened. I mean, really, that's my story. Do you get other messages from people that have shared the same experience that I had?
Yeah. The dancing has come up. I just had someone message me a couple of days ago. She was like, "Oh, girl, I just put a little bit on my hand. I just get, ooh." She's like, "I felt so not of myself." She's like, "But it was a good thing. I felt like I was being guided by somebody." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I like that."
That's the point. Yeah, that's the point. It's like human ancestors, come get your human. Like that's what that catalyst and ancestral healing does. That ancestral chapter, you have it on your shirt. Did you create that shirt yourself, or did you?
I did. No, I did.
Look at you. You're like little Miss Creation. But that ancestor stuff, like that's part of the deal that we need to tell our children, that you might have some karmic baggage coming down the line from great grandma who made a whole bunch of deals with her devil, and you're gonna have to clean that shit up. Like none of us got the warning or the memo, right?
Yes.
But ancestral healing, for me, it's deep. I come from a Hispanic line this particular lifetime, and we have almost the same as African Americans, because we were put as laborers, still are, and not getting any credit, but being held responsible for feeding and clothing the country. And you know, if I turned my back on everything that we're getting oppressed by, I wouldn't eat strawberries, lettuce, radishes, potatoes, like, because Mexicans do it all. They they carry the weight of our food supply on their shoulders happily. I can tell you we're happily to do it, but they don't get any kind of respect or any kind of, good job. And it's not that you need to hold my hand and give me some kind of award, but stop putting me down because I work harder than you, because, I can go faster than you can because I'm a little bit more efficient, and I want to take a nap in the afternoon. That's just a little comic in play. But the ancestor healing, you don't get a warning about that. Do you feel it's something that comes in still every day or in chunks, or I can hear there was a little connection issue, but I think everything's fine. But are you currently experiencing ancestral stuff still?
Oh, hold on. Say that one more time.
Yes. See, yeah, there was a little glitch. I was just talking about ancestral. Are you currently clearing any ancestral issues?
Yeah, I'm really diving deep into like what prosperity means and success means for myself and for the ancestors. And it's so much deeper than just money, because, currency has changed so many times throughout the years of human existence. And so it's not just that paper thing. It's about like, what does success mean to you? How will you know that you've done what it is that you came here to do? And then getting out of this mindset that I have to suffer in order to get somewhere has been such a deep freaking wound that I myself have a hard time battling. Like, is that true? Is it just like a rite of passage to go through pain? And it takes me back to like these deep rituals where, children come of age and maybe they have to get a marking on their face, or they're burned with some type of symbol of their tribe or who they belong to, or, their spirit self. And so I'm kind of just stuck in that moment right now, of what that means to go through pain in order to be a prosperous human being. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
I like that. And do we have to suffer? Is suffering optional? Or do I have to carry that baggage? And I think with everything that's going on right now, we're all being, given an opportunity to not carry it anymore, and not just emerge as female or male or, African American or Mexican or Chinese or Muslim or Christian or Catholic. I think we're all being offered a chance just to walk out of our homes and become one and leave that baggage behind, so we can bring the strengths of that ancestry and progress to something that might be better for this place, as opposed to being oppressed by a past that we can't do anything to fix or change. We can't even get humans to talk about it, so it's like, it's interesting to be on this aspect. And I know burning candles, I felt ancestors come in. I have a shawl hanging up in one of my rooms in my house, that was created for my ancestors by a Native American, and it pulls in my ancestors, especially during moments of the devil, when my own ego is saying you can't do that. My ancestors rush up on me like, yes you can, that's why we went through whatever we went through. It's just a really awesome tool to have, because like, we're usually oppressed by our past, but I've learned in this ancestral healing that it's my strength. Where I come from is my strength, and it is here to, help progress everybody to their strength. So I'm very proud of my ancestry. Like, I wouldn't change cultures if I could. You know what I mean?
I feel that 150%.
Right? Like, if someone offered you could be this color,
I'm good.
I'm good. I got this. It's good to. We say it in our family all the time. It's good to be Mexican.
Yeah.
I'd rather be this, thank you very much. And
Mhm.
it brings such a nice pride to those ancestors that did feel suffering, real suffering and oppression. And we have so much freedom right now. So it's really wonderful. We're going to talk one last card here. The Chariot came up for you. The number 7, the Chariot. I mean, you only pulled 2 major arcanas here. Bottom of the deck, 9 of coin. So you got the Chariot, and then underneath that 9 of coin, I always call her the Lady of Leisure, the Lady of Luxury. This is a harvest card. Inherit the earth, reap what you sow. Kind of what we've been talking about. And up on top, the Chariot. The Chariot only moves because our heart says go.
Yes.
But to find our heart, we have to let go of this and do everything that's on your shirt. To really get to true Chariot decisions, I got to get healed, be divinely guided. I've got to have my chakras aligned and know my ancestors are honored and right here. And then I can make these decisions.
That is 150. Oof. Yep. Yep. It reminds me so much of just coming back to just us, and it really makes me feel empowered to dive into what God means for me even more. Because I mean, just our creator, if let's just say the creator was mad at this whole human race, like erase her, as good as done, start over. But you can't erase the past. You can't, it just doesn't happen like that, but you can move forward. You can find the lessons, you can find the tools that you need, the wisdom that you need to just keep going forward, keep pushing. Because that whole like looking back stuff just reminds me of the story about Lot and his wife in the Bible, where his wife looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. Yeah.
Was that one of the stories that you read from that Bible that you had as a kid? Was that your favorite story?
Yes.
Did it always open up to that automatically?
No, but whenever I needed to like check myself, it would definitely show up. Some kind of way it would show up.
What is the lesson of that story, please? Because I don't have Bible stories that I remember.
So the story is Lot and his wife, they're part of the city, Sodom and Gomorrah. God tells them to get out. There's going to be a burning of the city, and lo and behold, that's what happens. And so Lot gets his kids, his wife, and they move on, and God's like, don't look back. Whatever you do, don't look back. And of course, there's the wife who's like, let me look. And then she turned into a pillar of salt. So that story was all about just listen. When Spirit gives you a message, just listen. You don't always have to be hard-headed and try the other way. Sometimes, Divine might know a little bit more.
And I'm just thinking, why's it got to be a girl? Like, why you got to call me out like that, God? Like, I'm the one who's going to look back because I'm all emotional. Why do I got to be the example?
That part too. I was like, well, why didn't Lot turn around? Is this the story? Is this correct?
These are the questions I would ask in Catholic school and church and all that. Why is it a boy? How come it was a girl? Why is it only this way? And how come there isn't any other possibilities or other storylines we can talk about? That's funny.
Yeah.
That just triggered those Bible stories. It's just interesting what we teach children, about God. When you were telling that story, I did what you and I have been talking about. I was there with you as a kid reading that story, but then also seeing that story from maybe what God intended. For me, God is not a male voice. It's an intuition. Those two heard something. They had a, honey, maybe we should get out of here. Are you sure? Yes, I feel it too. Let's go. you know, and God isn't like something that commands like that. It's just like this instinctive, guttural relationship that we have that guides us. And whatever her karma was to look back and be turned into salt, I mean, okay.
Yeah, I'm still pondering on that to this day. Like,
I'm thinking about that story. Anyway, but the Chariot is such a moving card and such a powerful card, especially when you make decisions from your heart. Do you feel that all the time? Are you consciously like, what does my heart want? Do you check back, or do you sometimes see the mind trying to control the Chariot instead of letting the heart go feel it?
It comes in waves, honestly. Sometimes I'm really in tune with, you know, like what my heart is telling me. And then all of a sudden there's this trigger and it's like, oh, I need to overthink everything. But right now I think I'm in a space where I'm definitely doing a lot of checking in. That's been really, it's been saving a lot of brain power, and I'm so grateful for it. Yeah.
You know where your energy is well spent and where it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with this Scorpio full moon again, it's supposed to be a very cutting type of energy. Do you feel things that are being cut off permanently and you're like happy and piecing it out? Or are you looking back like Lot's wife? Right? Like, cause like Sodom and Gomorrah feels like this full, like boosh, like lightning bolt, because that's what Scorpio is. And full moon goes, fucking let it go, right? And Uranus and Pluto and all these like death planets are like,
Yes.
let it go, like stop doing it.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this whole attachment to just stuff, it's just gone. Like, I've always been the kind of person who I will throw some shit away. I won't think twice about it. If I'm not using it, it's gone. And so that whole thing is coming back up, and I think it's happening to a lot of other people, to where they're just like, I don't need this stuff. I'm not gonna waste my energy on it. And just being called back to the land feels so enriching. I think about overindulgence. I think that's the word that's been playing around in my mind a lot. Overindulgence, being cut off. So overindulgence in good or bad things, doesn't really matter, is coming to this halt, because it's not a balanced way of being. And that's all that life tries to teach us, is just how to be balanced in moderation. And so overindulgence, in even just being overindulgent in the spirit world, like, what? No, you don't need to do all that. Remember, you came here to be a human being, okay? Chill out. You can't be checked out all the time.
Right.
And so I feel like we're being called back. You need to balance all things in your life. And I think it's going to show up in a lot of ugly ways for some people.
But didn't it for you as well?
Oh, absolutely.
This journey ain't all roses and candy bars, man. It's a bunch of shit and crap and fuckery. Yeah.
Yes. I was just having this experience where my back is finally relaxed after 2 months of it just being tense and tight from all of this just shit that I'm carrying. And now it's finally in a good place. So yeah, this journey is not all pink. It is not all fluffy and silky smooth.
But would you trade it for anything else?
Nope.
I'm good. Yeah. Again, I'll stay here. Thank you.
I'm just fine where I'm at.
That's right. Do you have that shaman deck around you by chance?
Where is she? There you are.
I had a feeling that you brought up this deck, and anybody who's watching, watch her aura when she pulls out her deck. And because it's true, right? When we pull out the deck that's ours, your aura changes. It shifts. You start getting all the, oh, look. And look at the way you hold it. You're like, this is it. Look.
This is my child.
So you're intuitive now, right? We don't just read out of the book. Do you just let yourself intuitively know and you trust all that communication?
Yeah. I find if I try to fight it, it's just going to be a terrible reading, either for myself or for somebody else. So I'm tired of the hard way, and so I just let it flow.
I'm laughing because we all go through that when we're learning how to be whatever we are. Do you have a title for yourself? Like, I mean, I know I finally stepped up and said, okay, I don't want to be a psychic. I don't want to say I'm clairvoyant. I don't want to say I'm a dream interpreter, because I'm all of it. So that's why this human was like, I'll go big and say I'm an oracle. Do you call yourself anything?
I still struggle with that, honestly. I'll use tarot reader just because it makes the most sense to humans, but it doesn't even scratch the surface to what I feel. So I don't have a thing. Not yet.
You might not ever need a thing. I was just asking because, you get so trapped. Well, I'm a medium. Well, I read tarot cards, and I can read palms, and that's why I just stepped up and I was like, I'm all of it. I don't want to just claim one. And that really, I think, opens up your catalog to even more learning. Yeah, pull us a card, please, and give us a message. And I think we're probably gonna wrap that up. This felt really good. How did this feel for you?
Amazing. It just felt so natural. I was honestly a little nervous before I got on here, but I was like, wait, girl, you're just talking to Michelle. Chill.
We're on the couch, like we're chilling, and literally, like, if everything was green, we'd be able to like smoke and all that stuff and just like chill. But yeah, that was the whole point of this, is just to like get on the couch and let's talk about some stuff and things that we are experiencing. So because people are going to watch and be like, oh, I connect with that, and I see that, and hopefully they turn to your Into Prosperity and look at your stuff and your products, and maybe you got some people who you can collaborate with, or who knows where this all ends up for you. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind, pull us a card, give us a message. I would appreciate it. That's my favorite part, is to watch tarot people do their deck, like the shuffle. That gets me really horny. I'm really worked up right now, Adreyauna.
I love hearing that sound. I love it.
Oh, it's sexy. Woo!
Yeah. Okay, so I got 3 cards here, y'all. So this baby flew out, which is the Emperor, but he was in reverse. So we have that. We have the 3 of Swords here, and the 7 of Swords on the bottom of the deck.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. Okay. This makes me think about rejection. And really, it almost feels like it's not going to be sugar-coated. It's not going to be put on the back burner for later. Like, if there's something that is not supposed to be in your energetic field, it's going to show itself. It's going to make it without a doubt. If it's a person, if it's a thing, if it's a food, it's going to reject you. And it's not because there's this hurt that needs to happen, but because it's almost goes back to that overindulgence. All right, Spirit, I hear you. Okay. Let me calm down. So this rejection feels like this, like you need to open up a little bit more because you're getting a little too comfortable with where you are right now. And now staying in that comfort zone is beautiful. It's amazing, yes, but it also keeps you from exploring the well that is yourself, the well that is your heart, the well that is your body, from going deeper and finding even more water to nourish yourself and nourish those around you. And so this Emperor in reverse is, and I'm not really a reverse reader, but for some reason I feel like we need to stick with this. It makes me think about, like, don't get so stuck in your head and get hurt by the hurt feelings. Like, don't butt hurt yourself after you've already got this rejection. Don't feed into, well, what if it was this, and feed into the, maybe it was that, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Don't have time for that. Let it go. But then this Three of Swords is like that opening of the heart, and it's the reason behind this rejection, and being very healing for you, because there's been a lot of intention setting, a lot of manifesting, a lot of like, I want to do this. Okay, well, in order to get that, you gotta let go of some shit. Like, you can't take everything with you to this new heights that it is that you're reaching. And the Three of Swords makes me think a lot about the way that people are going to be speaking of themselves, and the way that they're going to be heard. And interesting, the words that they'll be using, it's almost like developing this whole new language for your tribe and who you're connected to. And you're going to see that when you start using certain words, you're going to start attracting the people who also get that language as well. But if you stay stuck in your hurt feelings, you'll never develop the ability to interpret this new angel light language for yourself. And so this Seven of Swords being at the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, that card brings a sigh, that Seven of Swords.
Oh boy, the Seven of Swords. Sometimes, oh man, it just feels so stuck and so, it feels like it's in here, it's like in your belly, and it's trying to pop out. You're trying to be this thing, this energy is trying to come out of you, but it's just stuck like acid reflux.
Wow.
You know? And so it makes me think about not being able, and almost like not trying to force other people as well to understand you. It's not your job to get them to understand who you are. That's on them. That's a decision that they have to make. All you can do is present yourself and try. But if they're not connecting, if it's not clicking, just fucking let it go. Because we try to prove ourselves over and over and over again. It's like, why are you wasting your energy here? It's not working. So we get rejected over and over again, and some of us get addicted to the rejections.
Ouch. Why you gotta call me out, God? Like, you know.
Right? And some of this feels very paternal. A lot of daddy issues.
Which is interesting because you have a matriarch behind you. You've got an elephant. By the matriarchy. Those mama runs all that.
That's true. That's so true. So, yeah, I think if I had to give some good guidance on how to like move this energy out, it would be to check in with your back, to make sure that it feels good, to make sure that it's light, that there's no spots of it, even the lower, the upper, like just really pay attention to your back and those sensitive areas. All of it just needs to feel balanced and sturdy, and like you can trust in it to keep you upright, and to move when you need it to move. Yeah, I don't know. So
Very nice. I received that. That's a great message. And isn't it true when you pull a message like that, after you're done, I'm sure you're going to do what I usually do. I'm like, that message was for me. Like, I know I just read that for everybody else, but isn't it true when we give readings, it's like, it's about us. Sometimes to where it's like, am I making this up just for me? Like, yeah, or is this really resonating? So.
Oh yeah. I heard that message loud and clear when I first pulled these cards. I was like, oh shit, here comes the ass whooping. Okay.
I mean, and when you said Seven of Swords, I went, oh man, because that's the card that Spirit calls me out of. Like, the Seven of Swords is such the antithesis of the Chariot. Because for me, like, that Seven of Swords is always like God looking at me going, do you want that or not? Like, why are you backing out? Why are you talking yourself out? Why don't you see what I see, that you're worthy of that? It's that paternal, the masculine. Of course that can happen. Of course that's going to work out, you know. But we come from religious backgrounds that said the masculine always told us, you're wrong, you're evil, you're going straight to hell, da da da, if you don't do what I say and follow. You know. Such a fun little puzzle, the whole experience. I really dig that deck.
Yeah, she's so good to me sometimes. All the time, for sure. But sometimes she really just shows out. I'm just like, dang, girl, I see you.
I like that. All right, anything else you think we should cover? I think this was pretty good.
Oh, what are you doing for the Scorpio full moon?
Why's it got to be about me? I'm on the couch with Adreyauna. We didn't say I'm on the couch with Michelle. I said I'm on the couch with you. No, what am I doing? You know, I have a fireplace in the back. I'm not always a ritual type of person. I'm more spirit-led, whatever it wants me to do. But I am feeling maybe a fire in the back. Scorpio energy for me is in my sacral chakra, probably why I'm wearing orange. It's very much that masculine and feminine inside me. Mother, Father, Mary, Jesus, all that energy. And I'm in a harmonious union with that right now, whereas I wasn't before. So this full moon Scorpio is probably going to be concentrated on just giving them a honeymoon.
I love that.
Scorpio is our sexual desire, our passion, that sacral balance, that masculine and feminine. Like I said, since mine have healed and they're now in a new union. They talk differently to each other inside me. So I think I'm going to celebrate that on probably Wednesday night, because Apex is Thursday morning for us here in New Orleans. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. And I feel nothing but joy. I have a lot of death going on, a lot of death, and I'm okay. I'm not looking back. I'm piecing it the fuck out because my energy has been spent long enough. And I'm just like, my ancestors are behind me. Every time I feel they're like, nope, bitch, go, because they love me, bitch, go, let's go. And that's what I'm doing and how I feel about this full moon. And what we're under as far as the quarantine, like, I don't see it disappearing anytime soon. Like,
absolutely not. That's all play. That's play.
I mean, I'm just sitting in this place of discernment going, I hear you, I see you. But the thing is, people like us, I can see their aura. I can see where they're coming from. I can see their past lives, the things they haven't healed yet. And I'm like, yep, okay, yep, I got you. And I just got to ride my own journey right now. Just
How beautiful. That's going to be an amazing time on the full moon. Yeah.
We could talk for the next couple days about what's going to happen for the next couple days.
True.
We'll just ride along. Let's go ahead and close out. We'll, give a little bit of thanks, let go of a little bit of energy, because as you and I talk, we actually help the collective heal, whether they're watching us right now or not. So we're just going to kind of do a little closing. I just want to say thank you to Adreyauna's Human for joining me today and do this with me. I want to thank her highest self for allowing so much information to come through, so much connection. I really hope that whoever watches this really feels like they're not alone, that they know that something else is out there having same kind of experiences, same kind of feelings, making the same kind of jokes about it, so that they get a little bit more comfortable and more connected with their own source energy and their own story and their own destiny and their own reason to be on the couch with me later. So cleansing breaths and blessings to you and your family and your ancestors. Protection and peace to everybody. One big cleansing breath, and we'll come right back and say goodbye. I can't see you. You disappeared. Oh, there you are. Ta-da! She went away and she came right back. All right. Thank you, Adreyana, for joining me. I'm going to hit the stop button, and then you and I can say goodbye. But thank you for joining me on this. I'm going to have you back.
I can't wait. Thank you so much.
We're going to do another On the Couch with Adreyana, but I mean, I really appreciate you being my guinea pig this time and doing this with me. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you later. Peace. How do I turn off the recording? See, and this is where it's going to get funny, because now Michelle's got to figure out how to stop recording.
There it is. You found it?